Oh, come on, knock on my door. Come on, knock on my door. I'll be waiting for you. I'll be
I'm
waiting for
waiting for
you.
you. Three's company too.
Dun, 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 dun. Life is like a hurricane here in Duckburg. Race cars, lasers, aeroplanes. It's a Duckburg. Might solve a mystery
Mystery
or
or
rewrite
rewrite history.
DuckTales.
DuckTales.
Woo!
Woo.
Every day that I can make it DuckTales. Ooh!
Woo.
Tales of daring, do bad, and good DuckTales. I can sing the entire song. Don't get me started up in here. I'll go Chippendales Rescue Rangers on you too. I will look. I am an 80s and 90s baby to the T. But
Back,
welcome to the Sabby and JP show.
back when there were real cartoons.
Real cartoons. Ha 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 ha. Spin it. Do, 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 do. Let's begin.
Or
Look,
Darkwing.
that
You
was
remember Darkwing Duck? Darkwing Duck. When there's trouble, you can call DW.
W. Darkwing Duck. Let's get dangerous. Of course. Oh my gosh. That was the show. Oh my goodness. Anywho, welcome to the Sabby and JB show on Revolutionary Blackout Network. I am one of your hosts, JB. Sabs, what's good?
What's going on, JB? It has been an interesting week for news, I think. There's been a lot of tea, JB.
Look, there's so much tea. I think we should rename our show Lipton. My God. Because look, I still have to get through the other half. I got through the first half of the show when Shannon Sharp is interviewing
Cat Williams.
Cat Williams, and Cat Williams did not come to play. Then on top of that, we also it kind of has something a little bit to do with what we're talking about tonight, but I want to talk about this another time where Boosie got mad because of the movie The Color Purple. Like what?
Yep. So much has come out the past couple of days, and we just started the new year.
Yes. And then Alan Dershowitz, what about Hamas? What? Lord and Lord, I'm just like, what in the hell is?
Look, he's local for me. How you think I feel?
Oh,
He's local
like
because
taking a shower.
he teaches at Harvard Law School. He's local for me.
Sabs, big suggestion. You better get some burn some sage and get that smoke all around your house.
Might have to do that. Might have to do it.
Anywho, just to let you guys know, the Sabby and JB show is every single Thursday on RBN at 6 p.m. Eastern. If you guys have not, you guys can also subscribe to our Substack at revolutionaryblackout.substack.com so that you guys are aware of whenever we upload clips or go live. And also thank you to so many people who are subscribed to our Patreon. So if you guys would like to become patrons on our Patreon as well. And if you guys would like to, we also do fundraisers for our graphics designer, Erin. She does great work. So you guys can go to Venmo at Revolutionary Blackout or Cash App $Mutual Aid Forever. And in addition to, and furthermore, I'm also raising money for mutual aid here in Orlando. So if you guys would like to, you guys can go to Cash App at $Orlando RBN. We're raising money for grocery gift cards and toiletries primarily for our unhoused neighbors. So thank you so very much for that. Just to give a hello and a big salutations to all the people who are coming in already. I know y'all got some things to say because y'all probably already talked about this. Soul Construct came in and said, I love Taraji. Can't wait for this. I can't wait either. Golden Monarch says, AI, blockchain, corporate greed might as well convince celebrity voice actors to leave the voice acting industry. Ooh, and I love voice acting too. Oh boy. CBC voter says, happy Thursday at JB and Sabby Sabs. Bryce Smith come and says, don't forget to like on your way in. Good afternoon, Sabby and JB, everyone. Thank you so very much.
Guys.
Bad Cookie says, good evening, Sabby and JB. Good evening, everyone. Let's start the show with a like, please. Yes, please, and thank you. Crazy Flower Eater says, heck yeah, catching it live. Heck yeah, you live with us. Good to see you. All right. Who else I didn't say hello to? Zombie in the Air. Good to see you, Sabby, JB, and Hassats. Chat saying hello. Negro says, is this live?
Yes.
Yeah. Tiberius Monk coming in with a super chat, coming in saying Happy New Year, Sabby and JB. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Also, the 80s and the 90s had the best intro songs from shows like Darkwing Duck and Rescue Rangers.
Yes. See, he knows what's up. He knows what's up.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying he knows what's up.
Traveler's Wolf says, Boosie missed his Lord, don't get me started. Oh, Boosie got some things to answer for too, by the way, especially regarding his kids. Ellen says, hi, just now got the notification. Love you guys. Hello, Ellen. So good to see you as well. Jacqueline says, burning sage, are we exercising ghosts or something? Hey, everyone, by the way, look, we need to exercise the Dershowitz. Mm-hmm. I have exorcised the demons. Is clear. Matt John says, hi, Rad fam. Wardy Pilgrim coming in saying, hey, everybody. Notori coming in saying, hi, all. Oh, my goodness. Do we have anyone more? All right, we good. We good. What are we going to be talking about? Everybody that's watching on YouTube, Rockfin, Twitch, Rumble, and Facebook, good to see all of you here. What are we going to be talking about? Y'all know exactly what time it is. Sabby and JB are going to be talking about this, but we're going to take, as you guys always know, with the Sabby and JB show, we take pop culture and we mix it with race and class analysis. That's how we do, because why? We're trying to teach y'all. We're trying to show y'all something.
Basically.
Anyway. So, take a look. I almost quit acting. Why is Taraji P. Henson looking at Oprah the way she is? Why are you giving Oprah the side eye?
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason for that. So Taraji P. Henson is what I would consider, at least among Black people, as an A-list actor. She is A-list, especially in the Black community. Am I right or wrong on that, Sabs?
No, you're correct. I mean, she starred in numerous movies. I mean, she's a phenomenal actress.
Mm-hmm. Phenomenal indeed. One of the things that I wanted to share was a clip where she actually came out about what was going on in regards to pay. Let me make sure I get this primed up. She was talking about pay and really the pay disparities when it comes to Hollywood. And the pay disparities really remind you of what people, especially from marginalized groups, go through within all of work industries. And so really, this is going to be an analysis of class and identity intersecting and showing how they actually do intersect. So when people say, don't talk about identity politics and blah, 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 when in reality, identity and class always come together. This is important. Right. So when anybody says, don't talk about and insert identity because it doesn't correspond to class, they're wrong. They are wrong, and we're going to show you why this entire episode. Stay tuned. Let's go.
One thing I want to add to really quick, because I think people get this incredibly wrong. When people say don't talk about, identity politics or whatever, and they say just focus on class, class is also an identity. So let's just keep it real. Class is an identity. All politics, for the most part, is identity politics. So when people tell you don't focus on identity politics, just focus on class. Class is an identity. Class, race, gender, sex, etc. are all identities.
Yep. So let's take a look at this. Here's Taraji P. Henson. She's breaking down her pay. Let's go. Here's the math. So 30% of 150,000 is $45,000. And if she has to pay her team 30% off of the 150, then that, even though she only got 75,000 left, that means she only got $30,000 left, which means that entire $30,000 actually goes straight to her what? Her son's tuition.
So basically, she comes out even.
Yeah, she comes out even. Now, a lot of people will say, well, she's a celebrity and her son, she shouldn't have, she could put her son in public school, things like that. There's a lot of risk that also comes with when you're a well-known figure as well. I'm not trying to make excuses for them because, to be honest with you, I don't think we should have private education, period. We all should have public education. But at the same time, because of the way our culture is, so some celebrities, they get stalked, they get harassed, people will go after their kids, paparazzi, all this other different stuff. So, of course, some of them feel the necessity to put their kids in private school and things like that.
Yeah, well, she is, remember, she's a single mom. Keep that in mind too, for those who are not aware. She is a single mom. Obviously, she's making a lot more than I think most of us are making or have ever made. I never made $150,000 a year. Most of that's for one movie, but I've never made, you know what I mean? So I think that I'll get into it later. Let's go ahead and continue because there's a point I want to make where I feel like it relates to the labor issue.
Yeah, definitely. So there's an article that recently came out, and I'm going to share this article out of Variety. So it says Taraji P. Henson broke down in tears when asked about quitting acting. She says she's still not paid fairly. Enough is enough. This industry will steal your soul. So she said Taraji P. Henson broke down in tears on Sirius XM interview with Gayle King, who is Oprah's best friend, by the way, while promoting her new film, The Color Purple. King asked the Oscar and Emmy-nominated actor if she still was thinking about quitting acting, which King had heard rumors of Henson previously saying. Henson responded by revealing that she has hit her breaking point in Hollywood since she continues to be underpaid. Now, I'm going to share this video because I think it's more impactful when you share, and this is from Robin Thede. So let me share this. So Robin Thede says, watch this. Taraji is telling the absolute truth. 70 to 8%. Oops. Let me enlarge this. I'm sorry. My bad. 70 to 80% of gross income is gone off the top for taxes and commissions, agents, managers, lawyers. And for those who pay other employees as well, baby, the math ain't mathing. And I know you're like 10 million minus 8 million is still 2 million. So let's get into this.
Well, I just want to add, for those who are not aware, Taraji P. Henson is an award-winning actress. She has won a Golden Globe Award, Critics' Choice Movie Award. Screen Actors Guild Award. She's been nominated for 1 Academy Award, 3 Primetime Emmys, and 5 Screen Actors Guild Awards. So just FYI, like she's not, and she received her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2019. It's not like she is a B-list actress. I would say, you know, if it wasn't for her, when you look at the show Empire, I mean, the show was her character for the most part, even though the show was centered around the character Lucius. Her character Cookie really made the show, right? So without her being a part of that show, like she really made that show come to life. I don't know how much they paid her to, you know, be a part of Empire, but this is not a problem that's just unique with her. It's a problem with the industry altogether. And other actors have come forward and have been vocal about this too, how they underpay some of the actresses. There was one actress that was a part of the show, All That, and she came forward a couple months ago and she was basically saying that she was broke. And people are like surprised to hear these things. And she's like, people think that everyone on TV is making a lot of money, and that's not necessarily the case. But I think the thing is, and this is the critique that I have, because this is a labor issue, right? So I guess.
Well, just to add some context, when Taraji P. Henson says she made $150,000, that was for the movie The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, which also starred Brad Pitt. And Brad Pitt got paid $10 million for that movie. Taraji P. Henson got paid $150,000. Just to get you guys what the disparity was. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and it's been that way for a while, because I still remember when, I think it was Julia Roberts, when it was announced that she was offered like 20 million. It was either her or Sandra Bullock, I forget, was offered $20 million for a movie role. And it was big news because women in Hollywood were not paid what the male actors were offered. So at that point in time, it was no biggie for Tom Cruise to receive a $20 million offer, or Brad Pitt or whatever. But it was a big deal when it was like a female that was offered that, right? So the thing is that she's not the first one to come out and be vocal about this. But the question that I have, if we're looking at this as like a labor issue, where was Taraji P. Henson? You know, where were all the other actors when you had workers on strike in Los Angeles? Where were they?
Yeah.
Where were they when, like, the Amazon strikes, the John Deere strikes, the hotel worker strikes in LA, the writer's strike in LA? There's been strikes for like the past year and a half. There have been numerous, you know, employee strikes. Where were they when other workers, the little people, were going on strike? And that's the question that I have. It shouldn't just be about what's happening in the entertainment industry, because I still see this as a labor issue. So do you stand with the workers, or are you only standing with the workers that are in the entertainment industry? So that's my question.
Great question. Because it's about solidarity, right? Ultimately.
And not to mention, do you know how much more like publicity and promotion those strikes would have received if any of those people that I mentioned would have been a part of it? Would have even just gone to the picket line and said, you know, I support the hotel workers going on strike. I support the Amazon workers going on strike. Like, you know how much publicity that would have received for that cause? So the thing is, like, we're talking about labor. I'm talking about all labor.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me share the screen here. Continue this article. So she says that it says Henson's The Color Purple director, Blitz Bazawoli, backed up her claim, sharing that she had to fight for all of his leading actors to be cast in the film despite their various successes. He said it was like you were never there when he brought up their names to the studio. The fact that each one of you had to audition for this role, roles that were second nature for you, roles that no one should even question. Prior to the Sirius XM interview, Henson spoke with Variety's Angelique Jackson for the SAG-AFTRA discussion and revealed that she nearly turned down the color purple over pay reasons in order to set an example for her female co-stars. She revealed that she hasn't seen a raise in her pay income since 2018's Proud Mary, an action movie she had a lead role in. She said, if I didn't take a stand, how am I going to make it easier for Fantasia, for Danielle Brooks? Why am I doing this? We are here. We are to service each other. Henson has been outspoken about not being paid fairly in Hollywood. She told Variety back in 2019 that she initially was offered $100,000 to star opposite Brad Pitt and Kate Blanchett in David Fincher's The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, a role which earned her an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actress. Henson was able to bump up the salary to $150,000, but that was far below the $500,000 she was expecting to make as a third billed actor in a Fincher-directed studio movie.
Yeah, but why isn't, I guess the question that I have is that, first of all, why at this point in her career, why isn't she being offered in the millions? Right? Like a Sandra Bullock. Why isn't she being offered that type of salary, considering where she is at this point in her career? It's not like she started acting yesterday.
Sabs, you and I both know the answer to that question.
Right. And it's just, and people may not want to hear it, but it is what it is. Look, they only let a certain amount get through to that threshold. Mm-hmm. And Will Smith would get that offer before she would. Yes, and I'm gonna keep it real, because Will Smith, the last couple movies that Will made were not that good. We're not that great. But he'll still get that salary offer.
Yeah, he will. He will get that salary offer. So let's continue. This is an interesting point. Taraji P. Henson said, I want to make this very clear. I'm not saying that Brad or Kate shouldn't have gotten what they got. They put asses in the seats, so give them their money. They deserve it. I'm not saying they shouldn't get what they're getting. I was just asking for $500,000. That's all. That's it. When I was doing Benjamin Button, I wasn't worth $1 million yet. My audience was still getting to know me. We thought we were asking for what was fair to me at the time. I asked for $500,000. That's it. And they gave me $100,000. Does that make sense? I'm number 3 on the call sheet. Does that make sense to you? All I was asking was $500,000. That's all we were asking for. In retrospect, when you're asking for $100,000 compared to your working partner getting $10 million, that's a huge difference.
Another thing I want to add to, even in that statement, I feel like she was selling herself short, because she said, I wasn't worth $1 million yet. I would argue that she is worth $1 million. That's the thing. Yeah. She's one of the best actresses in the business. I'm just going to keep it real, right? I remember when she was on Hustle and Flow, right? Another really good movie. But again, I feel like she's at that point in her career now where she is worth $1 million. So her saying, I only asked for $500,000, I wasn't worth $1 million. Again, that's her selling herself short. She was worth $1 million. And you have to believe that you're worth it. And the thing is, like I said before, we've heard this happen. This come up with other actresses as well. We'll show the clip with Monique, in a couple of minutes, because Monique tried to explain this to people back in the day when she was getting those low ball offers. And the other thing is, where are all the people coming to that are in the business with her? Where are all those people coming to her defense?
Where's Brad?
Is Brad Pitt standing up for Taraji P. Henson, her co-star? Where is it? Mm-hmm. What about Terrence? Is Terrence Howard standing up for, because see, a lot of people, like, they get theirs. They're like, well, I'm in that salary bracket, I'm good. And they'll keep their mouth shut because they want to continue to get what they're getting instead of speaking up for their co-stars who are supposed to be their comrades. So where's the support system? And that's the same thing that Monique had complained about. She said there was just like no support system.
Yeah. This is why I always tell you, if you're at work, talk about your salaries with your coworkers. It is not illegal to talk about your salaries to your coworkers. Hey, how much you getting? This is what I'm getting. Oh, really? You're making less than me? Oh, that's not fair. Or, oh, you're making more than me? Wait, what? That's not fair. We're doing the same job. Right?
Where's Tyler Perry?
Where is Tyler Perry?
Where's, honestly, if we're talking about The Color Purple, where's Alice Walker? Because for those who don't know, The Color Purple, it's Alice Walker's book. She wrote it. And she's another one that they've tried to blackball because she spoke out against the state of Israel. See, I'm telling you, this a lot of these things are connected. Alice Walker spoke out against the state of Israel, and they pretty much did everything that they could to blackball Alice Walker. So the script or the movie that people are going to see, The Color Purple, which is the remake of the other movie with Whoopi Goldberg and Oprah Winfrey and Danny Glover, without the book, there is no script for The Color Purple. You see what I'm saying?
By the way, the original Color Purple movie was directed by Steven Spielberg, a Zionist.
That's a whole other conversation.
That's a
whole other conversation, because that movie actually was gypped at the Academy Awards, nominated for multiple, but didn't win anything. They don't like it when you tell the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So my whole thing is, shouldn't Alice Walker have a say in some of this since it's her book?
She should. Definitely. And I remember Whoopi Goldberg talking about the kiss between her between Celie and Suge, and how there was supposed to be a lot more involved than what Celie and Suge did, but because it was the 1980s and people were very you two women kissing, that's so extreme, then that's all they did in the movie. Which Lucia probably apparently have a problem with. But anyways, let's continue. So let me share what Robin Thede says. She wrote a thread. I want to make sure I get this thread in too, because Robin Thede has some things to say regarding this. So after Taraji said what she said, Robin Thede continues, says, yes, that's true. However, $10 million is very rare. Most of your favorite Black actresses make about $250,000 to $500,000 for starring in movies. So $50,000 to $100,000 net. And might only get one project a year. Now they have to pay social media managers because y'all will drag them if they don't have dope content, stylists, because y'all will drag them if they look busted, hair and wigs, because y'all will drag them if they look busted, not to mention important shit like childcare. She said, school for kids, keeping a roof over their head, somewhere they can feel safe with family, away from paparazzi who invade their privacy. I also know this life looks glamorous for some like her, and I know there will be comments like 100,000 is a lot of money. It is, but do the math, and all of it is often still living check to check and not creating generational wealth, especially living in Los Angeles, New York. All the while watching non-Black actors get paid way more. This woman is Oscar nominated. Imagine the struggle for 99% of the rest. Maybe folks won't relate, but that is also the issue. Being misunderstood and people just assuming they're rich. So next time y'all see an actor working at Trader Joe's, maybe it'll hit different. Lastly, and then she praises Taraji P. Henson for, being the type of person that she is, right? But some of these actors, especially the black ones, they don't make as much as you think.
No, this is what I was trying to tell people before, during the pandemic when actors were complaining, because obviously, like those of us that were in states that were locked down, the movies were also locked down too. But that's what I was trying to tell people. Like the people who make the big bucks, it's usually white male actors. It's Brad Pitt, it's Tom Cruise, and then you have your exceptions like Will Smith, right? Denzel Washington. But for the most part, they don't make what you think they make. Now, don't get me wrong, $250,000, $500,000 is a hell of a lot more than I would ever make, or like you have ever made, like JB. Don't get me wrong. But if we're looking at this as a labor issue, they are still being unfair when it comes to pay. And the reality is, there seems to be this notion that Black actors can't sell. And even after all these years of like Will Smith, remember he used to have like a blockbuster movie every summer. Remember all that stuff? Like Denzel Washington, how many blockbuster movies has he had, right? So even after all of that and all of their success, there still seems to be this mentality that Black actors, especially as a lead, unless it's an all Black movie, that they can't sell, that they're not going to sell tickets. They're not going to get butts in the seats. And that's how they look at it. But the thing is, it's not just that industry. You see this across the board. Why do you see fewer Black people in leadership positions at a lot of these corporate companies? Because again, that there's this notion that they can't lead. You see that in the NFL. Things have changed over the years with the NFL. They've gotten better with it. But I remember when I was growing up, they didn't really want Black quarterbacks because they said, again, they can't lead a team. Mm-hmm. So this is why I still say till this day, we still have a lot of work to do in this country when it comes to bias and when it comes to these types of ideas. I mean, this is just ridiculous. Yeah. Like, I don't understand. And by the way, that's nothing, because if you talk to other people in Hollywood, they're making even less.
Yeah.
And then when they speak out about it, they get blackballed.
Well, just to also, add to your point, because you watch football, you're a sports fan. Why were we just celebrating just a couple of years back about having 2 Black coaches in the NFL? Yeah. This late? The NFL's been around for how long? And we're just now having Black coaches?
Because again, there was the idea that they couldn't lead. And you've heard other football players have talked about this before too. I mean, it's just, look, I wish her the best. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. Now that she has come forward and she's complaining about it, they're going to try to find a way to blackball her too.
Yep.
This is what they'll do. Like, you come and you speak out and you complain, you start to get less offers, right?
Yep. Let me share this as well. This is going to get into it. By the way, I'll let him explain.
So people not understanding the Taraji P. Henson and Oprah Winfrey beef. Let me break it down for you. They were totally fine touching and standing next to each other at press junkets. No weird energy whatsoever. She even shouted Oprah out on the red carpet and told her she loved her.
Thank you so much. And I love you, Oprah, forever.
So why at this press junket were they definitely having a lot of tension in between them? Like, they did not want to touch for pictures whatsoever. And then that same day, Taraji gets on stage and Oprah touches the rest of the cast on their shoulder while they're talking. She refuses to touch Taraji. The rest of the cast, they all get touched. But Taraji, it's like she had the cooties. I wonder why.
And almost had to walk away from Color Purple. Yes, ma'am. Who said what? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Because you know what? If I don't take a stand, how am I making it easy for Fantasia and Danielle and Hallie and Felicia? Why am I doing this? If it's all just for me, why are you here?
Oprah was mad at what Taraji had said in that interview, and then after they had a conversation about it, Taraji posted this photo like we didn't see the video of Oprah and not even try to take the picture with her. But the caption is what got me. Oprah coughed with that money because she done said that it's imperative to have women of color in decision-making positions across all industries. Thank you for responding to my message with the compassion, understanding, and support that I received. Taraji goes on to say that it took one call and one conversation and one decision-making Black woman to make me feel heard. Oprah knew that after Monique had already had the same issue with her, everybody would take Taraji's side. So she had to cough up the money. Black women supporting each other. But I wonder, why would a billionaire lowball her own people?
Because Oprah is selfish.
Yes.
Because Oprah is selfish. Oprah always worries about what's good for Oprah. That's why.
Yep. She wanted to do Color Purple almost 40 years later, the movie, just so she can make money off of that again.
And she's a billionaire.
Yep. And she's the producer for this revised Color Purple.
And that's another example of exploitation, of billionaires exploiting the workers. So Fantasia and Taraji and all the rest of them that are part of that movie, they're workers. Yeah, they're actors, but they're workers. And Oprah is the one supplying the money. And Oprah is the billionaire. So Oprah basically tried to be cheap with her own people. What'd I tell you, JB? What'd I tell you? I told you. Exploitation.
Yep. You ain't lying. And so let me share this as well, because we brought this up. Because he mentioned Monique. Let's get into it. Yep, Monique went on TYT. I was surprised too.
Yes, this was 3 months ago, so I don't know if everyone saw this, but Monique did go on TYT.
Monique and her husband, Sydney, told the gospel truth. Here it is.
Hey, my sweet babies, I'm Monique.
And I'm Sydney.
And we're coming to y'all today to let you know we're standing with all the unions that are striking right now. And we have a story that we must share of our own with the community. Countess Vaughn and I did a show called The Parkers. The Parkers has now been on air for 24 years. And they're trying to convince us through our ownership of the show that we made absolutely no money.
And it's baffling, being that when you have a conversation with the executive producers, and they allude to the fact that the show in its entirety, 5 years, was made for under $70 million. It went out of production in 2004, but by 2009, we see profit participation statements that show the program made over $700 million, but yet was in a close to $1 billion, if not $1 billion deficit.
So what we're asking you, CBS, is can you please treat these two Black women fairly? When our brother Dave Chappelle, who ironically had a deal with CBS, said he signed the deal out of desperation and it was a bad deal, they were able to go back and do the right thing. And they made that deal fair and they paid Dave Chappelle what he rightfully deserved. What we're asking you, CBS, don't pay us any more, but don't pay us any less.
And the reason why we're having this conversation out loud for the community to hear is this. We see the numbers and they still don't want to pay. What will happen to you when you don't even know the numbers exist?
So we're asking you, and when we say community, we mean community as in the ones that's fighting for equality. Will you stand with us? CBS, will you treat us fairly? We love y'all for real, my babies.
Ooh.
So for those who are not aware, The Parkers was a sitcom, back in the day when people used to watch sitcoms. But The Parkers was a sitcom. It starred Monique. It also starred Countess. Is that how you say her name? Countess Vaughn?
Countess Vaughn, yeah.
She was Moesha's friend on the show, Moesha. And it was those two. So it was a sitcom. So anyway, when these shows eventually bow out, and if these networks decide to show reruns of the show, then the actors are supposed to be paid residuals for those shows, for the reruns that are showed. And from what it sounds like, according to Monique, they weren't paid what they were supposed to be paid. And again, she's not the only one that has come forward about this kind of stuff before.
Mm-hmm.
So it just, I don't know if contracts need to be rewritten or whatever needs to happen, but something has to change. And again, like, this is not just about the entertainment, just all across the board in the workplace. Yep. And I said before, this is why your supervisors don't want you to ask your coworkers what they make, because people start talking to each other. And I've actually had a former coworker, she quit because of this reason. People start talking to each other, and then you realize the person who has the same position you do, but has less experience, they offered them more than they offered you. That's why they don't want you to talk to your coworkers.
Yep. And in fact, this brings me to this.
Help secure that seat.
Sorry.
Equal pay day. And according to the National Women's Law Center, among full-time year-round workers, Black women typically make just 67 cents for every dollar paid to a white man. Career and leadership development expert and author of Next Move, Best Move, Transitioning into a Career You'll Love the title, Kimberly Brown joins us now for more on all of this. Kimberly, good to see you. Thanks for taking the time.
Anytime. Thanks for having me.
Good. What do you see as the main barriers right now in 2022 that are holding Black women back from being able to make more money?
So there's so many factors, and I think it's important that we talk about there being systemic, there's racial injustice, there's microaggression, there's bias in the workplace. But we also need to hold some of the accountability goes to the companies as well. The companies need to be held accountable for doing pay equity studies, and the Black women and professionals need to also understand how to properly advocate for themselves so they can fight against what we already know are the disparities in the workplace.
But this fight to me means solidarity from other people who it may not hurt to say and speak up. And this also means solidarity in unionization. And also, look, I know, you and I, we talk to Roger Meadows all the time, and he talks about trying to establish worker co-ops. Look, it doesn't just benefit, us across the board, but it also means that equitably and equally, we can also all make, the same for the same job.
Yeah. To Marco's point here, at a worker co-op, everyone's pay and you get to vote on it. Yeah. There's more transparency.
Yeah. And it's based on, it's based on performance, right? And so when it comes to the solidarity that needs to be expressed, if somebody does a really good job, then somebody does a really good job. So why in the world why are Black women being treated like this? And they're typically, as far as hierarchy goes, they are the bottom of this staircase. And so it just goes to show that, no matter what people say, people may say, well, that's identity politics. But I'm like, look, here's the problem. When you go issue for issue regarding class, who's always at the bottom?
Yeah. And I'll add this too. I had this experience for the first position that I had at MIT. I had this experience where it was revealed to me by someone who will not be named, but it was revealed to me via email that I was the lowest paid in that department. And I was also the only Black person. And I was the lowest paid. And when I say low paid, I mean really low compared to everybody else, regardless of experience. And they actually sent that to me because they said, I think you need to know. Mm-hmm. They could have gotten into a lot of trouble for that, but they showed me that and said, because they came across it and they were just like, this is absolutely ridiculous what they're paying you compared to everyone else.
Yep. Let's continue. And I got some things I want to say too.
The National Women's Law Center says the wage gap will typically cost a Black woman more than $900,000 over a lifetime of work. That is a remarkable amount of money. Yes. and contributes to the racial wealth gap. What can employers do to level this playing field and be more inclusive, say, in their hiring practices?
So
here's the thing. You have to force them. And by forcing, I'm not talking about just what you can do individually. And this is the one thing that gets on my nerves. Everybody's like, well, what can you do individually? Let's stop with the whole individual aspect. Let's start doing things collectively in order to help our fellow workers. This also includes Black women. And also another thing, because a lot of people are going to be like, well, you know, women especially, they're in certain industries, blah, blah, blah. Let's start off with going off on education. Why are we always pushing women towards a certain fields?
Yeah. That's true.
Because I'm sorry, talk all over you.
No, it's true because I was going to say there is a big push, and this started a couple years ago. There's a big push to push women into STEM, right? So they're starting to do that with females in middle school. Like they're like, we got to push them into STEM. And it's just, and there was this push, years ago to push women into teaching, push them into nursing, push them, it's interesting that they would do that like with us, it's just weird. It's like they're trying to basically tell us where our place should be.
Here's my thing. If you're going to push women into different fields, why not masonry? Why not electrician? Why not plumbing? Why not auto body? Why not auto tech? I mean, look, we need those industries too. I'm going to be real with you. So if we're going to push women, fine. Okay, let's start pushing them in all these other industries too. Why not? That's my issue. I'm like, okay.
And welding and carpentry and contractors and like those positions. And honestly, like those positions can pay fairly well depending on where you live,
So that's my thing. Like if we're going to start, we need to start way when they're little. And it goes to show, like, for instance, if a little girl wants to play with cars and trucks, let her play with cars and trucks. If a little boy wants to play with a baby doll, fine, let him play with a baby doll. It doesn't mean that he's going to be gay like me, whatever that means. It means that he might grow up to be a pediatrician. It might mean that he actually grows up to be more empathetic when he grows up. So let's stop with that BS, right? And buy that little girl a ratchet set. God damn it.
No. Yeah. I never, that was something else I never understood too. I'm just like, just damn it, the hell, just let the kid be a kid. Like, yeah, exactly. all this other stuff.
Yep. Let me go to some of the chat before we go because I want to make sure I get all these. I already read that. Thank you so very much. Bad Cookie says, Sabby, please educate me on this. If this is and it has been a problem, why don't Black folk in Hollywood band together and strike themselves?
You can't do that when people are looking out for themselves. Because, and also if that happens, the other issue they may run into is that they may become blackballed. And there have been a number of actors in Hollywood that have been blackballed. And once that happens, it's a wrap. Unless you start your own production company. Like other than that, it's a wrap.
Yep, you're absolutely right about that. Let's continue. Soul Construct says Terrence Howard lost the Iron Man role because he asked to be paid more.
Yeah. I heard about that.
Yeah, that's why they gave it to Don Cheadle.
I know. When I saw the second Iron Man, I was like, well, damn.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah. Yep. Hotel Rwanda is now a roadie.
Yep.
Esoteric Teaching says Oprah recruited victims for John of God's serial sexual assaulter.
Yeah. It's interesting how she has a lot of friends in that space.
Yikes. Okay. Let me make sure because I have some Rockfin ones to also yeah, let me go here to Rockfin.
Rock to the thing.
Isri Rosen said, DB says Emmy Rosen left Shameless after many seasons of proving her importance as a co-lead with William H. Macy. She wanted equal pay as Macy. To his credit, supported Rosen's demand. Yeah, that was a great show. Hollywood will blackball by calling her an anti-Semite. What?
She's
Thank you so
Jewish.
much. Yeah, Emmy Rosen, right?
Yep.
Laura Beza, thank you so much for the tip on rock. She says, I think that's because women are the only ones going to college now. College has become so expensive. Many men aren't doing it. You talked about that a couple nights ago, right, Sabs?
I did. Yeah. That is true.
Yeah. She says, women, no, there aren't many opportunities for them without some type of education. Thank you so very much for that. Yeah. And that's the part of the pay disparity as well. Yep.
Yeah, that sucks too, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so what are you going to be talking about later today on your show?
Well, I'm getting into the unsealed documents of Jeffrey Epstein. That's probably going to be the longest story.
Ooh, Lord Jesus. Oh my God, Sabs.
Jaybe.
I'm gonna look. I'm tired. Look, you're gonna take this story and just show me everything because I am just exhausted.
Jaybe.
I can't wait.
Jaybe, look, I got to tell you, I skimmed through probably about 50 pages, and it's almost over 900 pages. By the way, this is just part one. I think they just announced that part 2 is now being released.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's a lot of information. It's a lot. So I skimmed through what I could, and I was like, because some of the things I already knew, but the parts that I'm going to cover tonight are the things that a little bit more detailed about some of the other people that are mentioned that we did not know about. So we're going to get into the details about that, and we're covering the story about Claudine Gay resigning, the Charlemagne the God story in reference to Joe Biden, and I forgot what the other story was. Oh, Gavin Newsom, the healthcare rule that he made in California. Yeah.
Okay. Woo. This is going to be big. I'm gonna be tuning in for that.
Grab your popcorn. Tell people grab your popcorn and get comfortable because it's a lot. Like, I'm not kidding, because I took notes myself. It's a lot of information.
And yo, Sabs, you're a fast reader too. So if it took you a long time, it'll take me forever. Lord.
I went to a training session when I was in undergrad that teaches you how to speed read. So when I need to do it, I know how to do it.
Okay. Wow.
But yeah. But I'm a speed reading through 900 pages.
So just to let you guys know, on my channel, if you guys have not, I also do readings on my channel. I did the first part of chapter 6 of Laziness Does Not Exist by Dr. Devon Price. So I did that as well. Also, next week, I will be going into The Will to Change by Bell Hooks. I'll be reading that book. And this is the Will to Change, Men, Masculinity, and Love. So this is going to be a very interesting book to get into. I cannot wait. So if you guys would like to, you guys can go to our channels and subscribe there. Thank you so very much. Also, if you guys have not already, please make sure to like and subscribe You guys can go to Patreon at Revolutionary Blackout. Also, we're raising money for our graphics designer, Erin. She does great work at Revolutionary Blackout. Cash App, $ Mutual Aid Forever. And if you guys would like to, you guys can also contribute to the mutual aid I'm doing in Orlando. You guys can go to Cash App via Cash App at $ Orlando RBN. Grocery gift cards and toiletries primarily. So thank you so very much. I got to get going because I don't want to make sure that Sabs has a hard stop. She has to go right now. Anyway, last word, Sabs. Got to go.
See yas.
Bye, everybody. See you later. See you later, alligator in a wild crocodile. Like the farmer said to the potato, I'll plant you now and dig you later.